Hey guys, so it's been a very long time and I just wanted to come back to share a story with you. One, kind of as a word of caution, but also it was so freaking crazy. I just felt like I needed to share this story with more people. So basically, the story is about how my friend and I saved a drunk girl in the streets of Seoul at 4 a.m. on a early, I guess it would be Sunday morning, but this, oh my gosh, it was so crazy. So basically, my friend Tay and I were staying in Hongdae, and we decided to go out and hang out with some people, and I think we left the group at around 3:50 in the morning, and we were at a club called Savage. I'm pretty sure it was like super packed. You could not even move around in the club. That's a whole nother story. It was a hot mess in that club. So as we were leaving the club, we were just like walking down the street back to our guest house, and this girl almost ran into Tay. She was wearing some boots that went above her knees. They were so high. I was just like, oh my gosh. She was stumbling, and she was just a hot mess. And she was by herself. So I was like, oh my gosh, are you okay? Because I was tipsy, not gonna lie, and when I'm tipsy, I'm very friendly. I talk to literally every person I can possibly talk to. It's just, I'm a little bit of a mess, but it's like the thing where I know what's happening. I'm just so much more open. So she was by herself, so I was like, oh my gosh, are you okay? And she was like Korean, so she didn't really speak English. I didn't really speak Korean. And she's like, yeah, okay. And I was like, girl, you are not okay. And then so I tried to walk with her for a second, but she was going in the opposite direction than we were going. And I was like, really, are you okay? And then she legit, like, I put my hand on her arm, and she's like, okay, so I let her go. She fell and smacked her head against a restaurant window. Oh my gosh. So she smacked her head. Everyone in the restaurant like stood up and like looked down, and I was like, oh my gosh. And there were two security officers that were like right beside her, because as you know, we were like in like a club area, so it's just a bunch of security officers, a bunch of clubs, and they looked down at her, and I was like and I was like, she's not my friend, what do I do? And they like, move her, and I was like, move her? What? You two big guys, and you're telling me to move her? So anyways, this is what really frustrated me. So he told me that I couldn't move her to the place, I couldn't sit her in front of the restaurant because it's like an establishment, but to move her 2 doors down to an empty building. And I was like, are you serious? I don't know this girl. So then I'm like trying to kind of pick her up and carry her like this, and I'm struggling, so I finally just like like legit picked this girl up. She was wearing a mini skirt though, like a booty skirt basically, and so her cheeks were just out. I was like, oh my gosh. And then my friend is like, you're not gonna help her, like help me carry this girl. And they just like, one of the security guards just like walked behind me as I'm trying to carry this girl, and I was 2 feet away from the building, and he finally was like, oh, and like held her arm. And I was like, are you kidding me? I legit just picked this girl up and walked her all the way down here, and now you're gonna pretend like you helped? So my friend and I were like super frustrated at them, and I was like, what can I do with this girl? She's super drunk. We don't know her. I'm a little bit tipsy myself. My friend wanted to go. She was like, it's like 4 o'clock in the morning. I just want to go home. She didn't want to leave me, but I didn't want to leave the girl because she was so wasted. She was like a hot mess. So I asked the security guy, and I was like, can I like send her in a taxi? And he was like, no. So basically my friend was like, I want to go home, but I didn't want to leave the girl, and she didn't want to leave me. So I felt so bad. I kept telling her, go home. And she's like, no, I'm not going to leave you in these streets. And the girl was so drunk. I tried speaking to her in broken Korean. Oh my gosh. Another thing is, when I'm drunk or like tipsy, I will speak any language that I know like the bare minimum of. So I've like spoken Spanish, I've spoken Thai, I've spoken Korean, I've spoken Japanese. Like, I don't even speak these languages, but I will attempt to speak them to people. And one time Okay, that's another story. Let me not tell that story. So I told the girl, I was like, where's your friend? Like, in my broken Korean, and she answered in her broken English. It was so funny. But she was like, oh, my friend, no, no. And I was like, what? What's happened? What's wrong? Where's your friend? And she said, no friend, no friend, no friend. I was like, okay, okay, let me have your bag. So this is the thing. So when she passed out, like, I think our bodies go into like self-preservation mode. So I think that as soon as she felt like that she's just even remotely safe with someone, because like as I said, I was like holding her arm and like asking her if she needed help, that's when she passed out. But she had been stumbling down the streets. I think she possibly still would have been stumbling if like we hadn't gone up to her and said something. But I think as soon as your mind or like your body knows that you're even remotely safe, that's kind of when it lets you relax. And that's when she like legit passed out. I was also worried because she like banged her head against the window and like nobody's caring or doing anything. I'm like, we're just like these foreigners who don't speak the language and no one is helping us. No matter how much we say, we don't know her, we don't know her. So she gave me her bag and she legit just let me go through her bag. That's how drunk she was. So I like pulled out her ID card and it was so sad because she's like, she was a hot mess, but in her card she's like all cute and put together. Like I was like, oh. So I think she was either a year younger than me or a year older than me. I want to say a year younger than me. So I asked the security guard who was just standing there being worthless. It's like, can I send her home in a taxi? I have her address right here. And he's like, nah, taxis don't like it when like it's just a drunk person by themselves, I guess. Because I was like, I'll pay for it. Like, can I pay in advance or something? Or like whatever. And he was like, no, no, no. Because like, what if she doesn't get out? What if she passes out and yeah, just doesn't get out of the car? What if she throws up? Taxi drivers hate that. And I was like, well, can I go with her and like escort her home? And he said, nah, nah, nah. And I was talking to my friend and I was like, I don't understand why I can't escort her. And she said, he probably didn't understand what you were asking. I was like, okay. So I kept asking her friend, I was like, so why are you by yourself? And she said that, so basically the story was this. It's so sad, so sad. She said, he wanted sex and I didn't want it. So I don't know. It was really hard to understand. I don't know if she was with this guy hanging out or like if it was her boyfriend, if it's her friend and he like was trying to push her to do it and she didn't want it so she kind of left, or if it was a situation that had happened prior and she was kind of just drinking her pain away. I didn't really understand, but like she was showing me and I was like, is there anyone you can call? And so she pulled up her phone and was like scrolling through, and she had been trying to contact the guy, I guess. And I was like, why are you trying to contact him? Don't try to contact him if he's like pushing you into the situation. I don't want you to go with someone who's doing that when you're like this far out of your mind. And she tried calling him, he didn't answer. She had tried messaging him, he didn't answer. So it was kind of like, I didn't know if I was like happy that he didn't answer or if I was like, oh dang, why doesn't he just answer the phone? Because it was the only person she would allow us to contact. I even tried like ringing the phone number again and no one answered. So it was so sad though, because in like the messages there's pictures they had sent each other with funny faces and it was so cute. And I was like, I wish I knew the whole situation. I felt so bad. And then finally the security officer left. He was like, tell me what. Okay, so I'm over here with my arm wrapped around this girl. She's grinding her teeth nonstop and like throwing punches. And then she was like punching I was like, no, 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 no. And then she tried punching my friend and Taylor was like, look, I know you're drunk, but if you punch me again, I'm gonna punch you back. So I was like, no, no. So I'm over here trying to stop her from punching her. I'm holding her arms down. And then this weird guy, like some Korean guy, he was wearing glasses. I can see his face. He came up to us and was like, can I take your picture? Now, like, I've been to Thailand, I've been to Japan, and I've had people ask me, like, can I take your picture? Or ask my friends and I, can we take your picture? Like, it's legit like a photo shoot sometimes. And we're like, what the heck? We're over here with a drunk girl's under my arm, like passed out on my shoulder. And he's saying, can I take your picture? I was like, this little pervert, I don't know if it was like because we were black or because this girl is wearing this mini skirt. I took her jacket and covered her lap, but it was just a very strange situation. So we said, no, 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 you little weirdo. So he finally walked away and he stood beside a pole. I'm about to tell you like more of the story, but he stood by that pole the entire time. At first I didn't realize it, but when we were leaving, I saw that he was still standing there. That was the weird, that was another, I didn't want to leave her. So that was definitely another reason why I did not want to leave this girl, because that was just weird. You never know what type of creepers or perverts are gonna prey on an innocent girl who's like passed out in the streets. So a cop car rolls by in front of us because we're in Hongdae, which is like, you know, like I said, a club area, so a lot of cops patrol through there. And we're like, oh. So they rolled down the window and we said, we don't know her, we need help, blah blah blah, help us, she's drunk, we want to go home, we don't know her, but we can't leave her. And you know what they did? They laughed and rolled the window back up and just rolled by. Now at this point I was pissed. I was like, what? So then I started speaking randomly to Korean people passing by. I was like, do you speak English? Do you speak English? Do you speak English? And finally this group of guys walked by and they're like, yeah, we speak English. And I was like, yes! So I told them the story and they were like, yeah, there's nothing we can do to help. You may just want to leave her. Because this is something you see all the time in the streets. All the time. So I think it kind of just rolls off people's backs at this point. But obviously, I'm sure like most of you, if you see someone who's that wasted that they pass out in the street, you're gonna help them. Like, you're not just gonna leave this girl who rammed her head against the window on the floor. Who, like, the fact that people, I'm just super frustrated by that. So the guys left because they said, there's nothing we can do. Even though I had her ID card, I was like, So then I was standing up trying to like flag people down and she fell or rolled down. We were up 2 steps and she fell down the 2 steps onto the ground. Her face, and she was sticking her finger down her throat, trying to make herself throw up. And I kept yanking her finger out and I was like, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. And then my friend was like, just let her do it. This is probably actually good for her if she can force herself to kind of throw up some of this alcohol. It may help her in the long run. And I was like, okay, yeah, you're right. So I tried pulling her hair back, but I didn't have a hair tie or anything. So I was holding her hair for a little bit. And then I was like, I need to try to get more people. So I stood back up. I was flagging more people down. And finally I flagged down this couple. And I was like, do you speak English? And they said, well, we can listen, but we can't really speak. And I was like, that's all I need. So I told them the situation. And I even showed them the phone. And they were scrolling through the messages. And they're like, oh, yeah. And I was like, what did these messages say? I was so curious. But then I turned around and the girl threw up. Like, oh, and my friend was like, I can't do this, I gotta go. And I was like, wait, I'm getting these people to help. So it was all, she has like long black hair. Her hair was covered in that throw up. So she sat up, her face, her hair, everything covered in vomit. And I'm like scrounging through my bag for wipes or anything. I have nothing. So I'm like flipping out, trying to talk to this couple. And they finally were like, oh, we'll call her mom. And I was like, oh snap. I was like, it's better than nothing. Whew, I felt so bad for her, but I was like, there's nothing else I can do. And the couple was like, you guys just go home. You've been sitting with this girl for a while, just go home. Because my friend was so tired. And we were like, thank you so much. They were the sweetest couple. They looked so cute. They were in like matching outfits. I was like, y'all are so cute. So They let us go home. I was just thinking about her the entire time. Like, to this day, I'm like, I wonder how mad her mom was. I wonder if the situation with the guy is okay. I hope she stuck to her guns regarding the whole thing, because it seemed like it really messed her up. And it's so sad. I think she was a year younger than me. But I'm really thankful to that couple because, yeah, we tried flagging a police officer down and they did not attempt to help us at all. The security officers sucked. No one was helping us. I mean, I know that it's something that you see constantly in the streets all the time at this point, but I was just extremely frustrated. I was tipsy myself. My friend wanted to go home. It was an extremely stressful situation. But then I think about, had we not stopped and helped this girl, what would have happened to her? I have no idea. The other night we were actually out, and I was out with a different friend, and we went outside and there was this guy and he was surrounded by police officers. He was covered in vomit and they got like an ambulance to come, and I was just sitting there like, but yet they couldn't call someone when I'm over here asking you for your help. Like, ugh, the frustration was real. Anyways, the moral of the story is, if you're gonna go out, please do not go out by yourself and get that wasted. Like, to the point where you are not aware of your surroundings. She was crying, she was grinding her teeth, she was without anyone in these jam-packed streets with creepers, like that guy who stood behind that pole when we left that couple who was helping her, or who called her mom. He was still standing behind that pole watching us. You never know who's out there and who could prey upon these innocent people. 2, that story is gonna stick with me. It was so crazy. We like bring it up randomly. We'll be messaging each other like, I wonder how that drunk girl's doing. I hope she's okay. I hope she's happy. It was so sad. Like, when I think about her little ID card, and just makes me so sad that she was upset to the point that she had to like drink herself so she didn't feel the pain. Drink herself to the point where she didn't feel the pain. Like, I've definitely been going through a lot of pain recently, and I never would want it to get to that situation or that point, but I'm basically back because I needed another outlet. So my contract is coming to an end, but I decided to renew another year. I never thought I would. Being here has been very stressful, but in another way, it's been very healing in a way. I don't know how to explain it. But I think a lot of my friends are leaving since the contract's over, and they were going to only be here 1 year. So I think my mind is kind of like knowing that these people are going to be gone. These people I've kind of been leaning on, hanging out with every weekend since I've been here. I've been getting, I guess you could say, more depressed than usual. So I wanted an outlet to kind of just talk, get my feelings out. That's why I decided to post this video. I have so many stories that have happened here. Like, this old man on the bus, an act of discrimination, or not discrimination, an act of racism, or just a crazy old man. That's like what I ask everyone when I tell them the story. Maybe I'll post it, but just thinking about that story frustrates me to... Anyways, that's the story. It was very stressful when it was happening, but I'm glad that we stayed behind to help, because we could have just let this girl wander through the streets. But then it's like, if you were in that predicament, wouldn't you want someone to help you, even if they end up calling your mom? Yeah, it's better to be safe, it's better to be safe with your angry mom than like being attacked on the streets or left to sleep on the cold streets, the cold, dirty, spit-covered streets of Seoul. Anyways, that's all I have to say, so bye guys!